Telling our stories is the connective tissue of the collective human experience. The Just Keep Talking podcast delves into the lives and stories of artists. What is the impact of mental health on creativity? What does it mean to be a creative individual? Someone who feels deeply, experiences joy and pain intensely, and navigates the challenges of life through the creative process. With each story shared, we explore the authentic experience of our basic need to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. We're really not so different from one another, nor are we alone. Together, we can inspire, encourage, and enlighten each other to find the true joy and fulfillment that is within ourselves. When we just keep talking, we create the space for gratitude, self-acceptance, and grace in everyday life. In a world filled with divisiveness, fostering inclusivity and connection is a powerful way to make a positive impact. The Just Keep Talking podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters.
I'm getting tired of where I've been, so I'm ready to give it a roll. If you brought your voodoo pen, you can take control. I got a feeling you're gonna set me free, and it won't take long, you're already getting to me.
Hello and welcome to the Just Keep Talking podcast with me, your host, Brother Love. You know, your story matters. I am so happy to be hanging out with this super famous cat named Adam Shoenfeld. Hello.
Super famous in my own mind, baby.
That's right. Adam Shoenfeld, let me get the Google out of the way, is a professional guitarist, songwriter, and producer based in Nashville, Tennessee, primarily focused on modern country music. His guitar playing has been featured on over 500 albums and is closely associated with Big and Rich's Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy and Jason Aldean. You, sir, are currently on tour with Tim McGraw. You've been in that band since I believe 2012.
That's right.
Great to see you.
You too, brother.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. You're building a studio in your home. This is what happens in Nashville. You go to somebody's house if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And you walk in, and especially if it's a musician, you see instruments or records and stuff. You are full on building a studio in your basement.
Oh, yeah. Me and my dad have been framing the heck out of it.
That's so
We're
cool.
almost there.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
I think we can get it done in a couple months.
You and your dad. So you're originally from New York.
Yep.
You were born in Huntington,
Yep.
Long Island.
Yeah. My parents grew up in East Northport.
I grew up in Queens, the gateway to Long Island. And then you lived in Jersey.
Yeah, they moved to Jersey when I was young, when I was 3, but grew up going to Long Island to see my grandparents all the time, every year, a couple times a year.
Sorry to hear that.
Grew up going to Yankee games too. But to me, I didn't know the bad stuff about Long Island that people say, but it's still great. You
No,
know,
it
what
is great. It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
It's got its thing.
It's New York. It totally has its thing. I can make fun of Long Island just because I'm from Queens.
There you go.
So many of my friends, I always was spending time on Long Island. And when I meet somebody from Long Island or Strong Island,
Yeah.
there's a kinship.
Yeah.
You are a Yankees fan, so you understand what winning is
sorry.
like. No,
Yeah.
it's okay. Because you are a winner in life. You are an absolute winner. So let me just get right to this.
Yeah.
You, as a guitar player, you are the guitar player on Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Is that correct?
I am.
You are like Back in Black. When somebody hears the first few notes of Back in Black or Detroit Rock City, or, I mean, name any Beatles song, just any song that is famous, when somebody hears the first few chords of Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy, Big and Rich, that is you.
It is. That was my first time on the radio too with that song, like national radio. Wow. I had songs with bands, like on Lightning 100 and stuff like that. But that was the first time it was like, oh, this is worldwide, baby.
Yeah. So what year was that?
2004 or 5. Yeah.
Because I moved to Nashville around 2008-9, and I was in a band called Her in Kings County.
Okay.
And we came from New York, and I wasn't even playing drums. I was doing my thing, Brother Love, singer, songwriter, artist.
As you should have been.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I filled in on drums because I knew the band's music. I lived with the producer for a time while he made the record. So he was like, we need a drummer to play Arlene's Grocery in New York on like Thursday.
Right.
And it's like Monday. And I'm like, dude, I lived with you. I know the songs.
Right.
And I'll dust off the old drumsticks.
Yeah.
And I had a great time playing drums.
bet.
And I thought, this is so cool. And somebody came up to me and said, wow, looks like you had a good time playing with this band. Congratulations, you're going to Nashville. And I thought, what the hell are you talking about? Why would I go to Nashville? I'm a Jewish kid from Queens.
Yeah.
Why would I go to Nashville?
Yeah.
And then I thought, this is odd. And I went up to Caleb, the band leader, producer, who worked on all my records. We'd been friends for years.
Yeah.
And I was in support of anything that he did because he's a really talented guy. And he was a close friend. And I said, are we going to Nashville? And he was like, do you want to go to Nashville? And I thought, sure.
What year was that?
2008-ish, I think.
Yeah.
We came down here, had a showcase at Dan McGuinness, and there was a management company there, and there was booking agent. What was it? Lee, something.
Country booking agency.
They're a rather big mid-level
Yeah.
booking agency.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, they said, can you play covers? We'll get you out on the road right away. We said, sure. So Buddy Lee
Buddy Lee
Attractions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we thought, wow, went back to New York, put an ad in the Village Voice, found Alex Haddad. We got to Nashville, went on tour, and you know what song we played every single night?
Oh.
Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
I can't escape it. And anywhere we go, you always hear it.
Would you want to escape something like that?
Well, yes and no.
Right.
No, I'm glad that it established this career for me that whole time.
Yeah.
And those group of songs that John, Rich, and Kenny were writing. And, I'm definitely glad about it. But I feel like it pigeonholed me for several years as the guy that just plays power chords.
Right.
In country music.
But country music, yeah, go on.
But that actually is what kind of like that rock edge is what kept me getting hired over and over and over again. So it was a good thing, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without it. So no, I don't want to escape it, but sometimes you go in your mind, I can do other things, right? I can play like on a Lucinda Williams record. I don't need to be on, you don't need to call me just when you want go, it's like.
Okay,
So.
but that was the sound of country music. You, sir, Adam Shoenfeld, you were the sound. People were playing, and because it was like metal, that was the part that I couldn't understand, because I'm like, this is called quote unquote country music. This sounds to me like everybody I grew up with that played metal and figured out, you know what? I'm going to go to Nashville, and somehow or other that became the sound of the time.
Yeah, it was interesting because, John and Kenny, John Rich and Big Kenny, Music Mafia were part of that, all friends, and Kenny and I had Lovejoy, which is a rock band prior to Big and Rich. He kind of wanted to make it Big and Rich, and we were all like, dude, this is a rock band. We don't want, no offense to John and Troy, but we don't want a black rapping cowboy and a dwarf in our band.
Yeah.
We don't want a circus. Kenny saw this vision, and we all quit, not necessarily because of that reason, but we all ended up quitting. And it was within 6 months that Kenny called me and said, me and John got a record deal. And in my head, I'm like, of course, as soon as I quit something, there's a record deal, and that's usually how it worked with my life, not that my success is anything to, snicker at, but it was like the record deal stuff usually would happen right after I, ducked out. But anyway, they wanted me to play on their record. And I said, guys, I don't play country music. And they said, that's exactly why we want you.
Wow.
And that's what carried me through. John, a lot of those riffs people think I wrote, I just played.
Okay.
Like a lot of those riffs, not all of them, but John wrote. And
John Rich
wrote those riffs. And, like for instance, Jason Aldean's first record, I played mostly acoustic on.
Right.
But I brought my amp because we were doing the song Hicktown.
Yeah.
And Knox knew he wanted it to sound like the demo.
When you say Knox.
Michael Knox.
The producer.
And he had Kurt Allison and Jack Sizemore, who were Jason's road guys at the time, on electric. And they could absolutely play the part.
Yeah.
But it didn't sound exactly like the demo. And that's what Knox liked, was that sound. Well, I had the fingers, the amp, the guitar, and the pedal that played on the demo. So that was the last thing I did on the first record. That was it.
Hicktown.
Yeah. And that cemented from then on. It was just me and Kurt on electrics.
Wow.
On all the records.
On all of Jason Aldean's.
Yeah.
So,
Except there's been like maybe one or two songs where for some reason I couldn't be there, and I think Rob McNally filled in and played a couple things. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, that ride, man.
Do you get called today for Jason Aldean's records?
Yeah, we've been on every one. Been part of every one with him.
So he's another one. We opened up, the band I was in, we opened up for Jason Aldean. And we were playing, we played all of the songs that you made famous. And it was nuts for me because it was fun because it was rock.
Rocking, yeah.
I was playing drums and singing. I sang Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. In fact, at the Bridgestone Arena, we had played in front of Montgomery Gentry. Then I thought, well, I guess I'm into this because I love Montgomery Gentry. And then I found out later that all of that Jeffrey Steele stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And when I listened to Jeffrey Steele's demos, they are the exact replica. Like the record was the replica of Jeffrey Steele's demos.
Right. He did some great demos.
He still
does.
Yeah. And he's a fabulous writer.
I cut bunch of his songs with an artist named Mark McKay to this day. Mark's more of I consider him like a modern day Jackson Brown.
Oh yeah.
But a little more rockin'. Yeah. And he loves Jeff, and he's always bringing me Jeff songs.
Yeah. Have you ever been in the situation where you've seen a band playing one of your songs, just like Save a Horse or anything, and you know the guitar player's not playing it correctly, and you're like, hey, got a tip for you, Sonny. Or, hey, young person, excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever done that?
I've never had that thought. I mean, I've definitely heard bands playing the song, and but I've never like really critiqued it.
What's the tuning of Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy?
To be completely honest with
sir,
you,
please, come on.
I can't remember if we did drop D or not, because live I didn't do drop D because I just hammered on the second fret of the A and D string and left the E open. And I think on the record that E's open. I think that's how we played it. And I think John, and I could be completely wrong. Like if John heard this, he might be like, dude, it was totally drop D.
Right.
But I think he did drop D live and I did the other one. So we had that rub of the low E.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure, it was just the E ringing, but the higher notes of the chord, the fifth and the octave, were doing the going down to the D chord and hammering on the E.
I don't know.
That's how we did it live.
Yeah.
Or I did it live.
Yeah. So did you get along with both of them? I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Big Kenny, you worked with him sort of a little bit more.
Yeah.
And John Rich is a real character. I mean, they're both characters.
They both have their own legend.
Yeah, and they really built something. Music mafia, like Gretchen Wilson.
Yeah.
My wife got to play with Gretchen Wilson a bunch, and I love hearing the stories. I always rooted for her because she's just so down to earth and badass. And I love Big and Rich. Like there's politics that came later on, and it's all nutty and whatever.
It's all nutty. And Gretchen was awesome. That was the first video I was in.
Yeah.
I played on the demo of Redneck Woman, but not on the record.
Wow.
She was always awesome. I did a lot of demos for her. But yeah, man, John and Kenny were both good to me, but I would always get made fun of that I was the Ann. I was the go-between. If there was any friction, I was kind of like the diplomatic communicator between the two of them sometimes.
The musical diplomat. That's in your bio. I remember being at John Rich's house, though. I was pretty amazed.
Nuts, right?
Because he built this house on, is it Love Circle? Mm-hmm. And people were pissed. So, folks, there's a little area. There's not a lot of like really pretty views necessarily in like Nashville City proper. I mean, it's such a cool town, but there's this place called Love Circle, right?
Yeah.
And there's some beautiful views. And John Rich just plopped a big compound and really pissed a lot of people off.
He blocked a lot of people's sunshine is what he did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So like in the morning, John Rich is out there throwing money at, hey, is this better? And people are like, no, we would rather have the sun. But I remember being at his house because the band I was in, the main writers of the band were getting ready to write with John, you know? And it was just cool. He had us over. And I remember that he had a really cool bar in the elevator of his home. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this guy's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
I just thought, this is crazy. And we were upstairs and on the roof is a pool. And then we went downstairs and there's a club. He has this cool club and he's smoking a stogie and he's got just people around. Yeah. By the way, he had a baby, like he just had an infant.
Yeah.
And like the kid is nowhere to be found, thankfully, because we're in a bar in his house.
Yeah.
And I thought, this kid's going to grow up around some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And we're at the bar and I do recall looking up. I'm in a building. I'm in the top floor of this bar. And I look up and I can see the people swimming in the pool.
It's very cool.
Because the floor of the pool is a glass ceiling that looks down into the club.
Yep.
And I just looked up and just saw pretty women just swimming right by me. And I thought, I love this
This
place.
is heaven.
Nashville is amazing. Yeah. And they were very sweet. And John Rich was very sweet to us and very kind.
Yeah.
You've been involved in this music business on the level of just being you're a tastemaker. I mean, you are the sound. You are the sound of what Nashville was. And that's a sound that, by the way, it doesn't just go away. People are listening to your stuff forever.
Well,
which is cool.
It's still out there, and it's still an element too.
Yeah.
Blending those tones.
I couldn't get people to come visit from New York back then in 2010, 11, 12. Nobody would come and visit. I'm like, you don't understand. And I would play them your music.
Yeah.
I'd say, this is
That's
country
sweet.
music,
That's
man.
sweet, man.
They'd be like, this is country music.
Took a turn, man.
Yeah, you're obviously more, and things have evolved and changed or devolved, however the hell you want to look at it. But you're a fantastic writer. I mean, you co-wrote Mississippi Girl, Song of the Year, right? #1 hit for Faith Hill, co-written with John Rich.
Yeah.
So, come on. #1 song.
Yeah, that was interesting, man. And I honestly have Big Kenny to thank for that, because John, we were on the road,
Right.
and John had the idea for the song and went to Kenny, and we were opening for McGraw, and Faith was out there.
You were opening for Tim McGraw.
Yeah, John,
right?
she's looking for songs, and she's going to record again.
What year was this that you guys were opening up?
05. And John goes to Kenny to write the song, and Kenny said, I don't feel good, man. Go write it with Adam.
Wow. Thanks,
So,
Big Kenny.
Yep.
Wow. So you wrote the song that year, and was it how long from the...
It wasn't very long, man. I feel like it was a matter of like 6 months, and that thing was on the radio. And I tell everybody, they're like, what was it like? And it was like, to me, it was a mystery. Like, I wrote the song with John. Obviously, he had a bulk of the idea. He had the melody, he had the title. I just helped him with some lyrics, you know? And I think the first time we sat down might have been a total of 30 minutes. And then we took another 20 minutes sitting at a picnic table at another venue. Next thing I know, we're somewhere, I forget where it is. I always recognize it when I get there.
Yeah.
Playing it on this grassy hill. We're parked in the bus. I'm looking up in the grassy hill, and there he is playing the song for Faith.
Right.
And he comes on the bus. He's like, she loves it. She wants to record it. And of course, in my brain, I'm going, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Because when we finished writing the song, I wasn't a country writer.
Yeah.
I was dabbling. I kind of came out of it thinking, well, that was an interesting exercise in writing a country song. And I didn't really think I was kind of indifferent. I didn't think it sucked, but I didn't think it was awesome. And he comes and says she wants to record it. I'm like, really? Okay.
Wow.
Cool. Okay. And then she's recording it, and they're like, oh, it's going to be the first single. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, Wow. And then it's like, it's going to be #1. I'm like, nah. And boom, there it was. It was like, wow, that just happened.
Wow.
I'm the luckiest songwriter in Nashville.
Wow. And by not chasing after it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, look, sometimes we just don't have a choice. You go into a co-write. That's what happens here in Nashville, if you're listening, folks. People write music all the time. You get into a room with people you don't know or people you do know. You write by yourself. And a lot of times it's like, okay, hey, nice to meet you. If you're the artist and I'm a writer, it's like, all right, well, what are you looking for? What do you need? Right.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like this kind of chase. Well, I'm looking for...
It is a chase. Yeah.
And you know what the chase was for years? Well, man, we got to write Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Then you realize the business of it all. Then you just see the carbon copycats of everything, right?
Right.
You see a million songs that sound like the Faith Hill song, but you were just there being present and in the moment.
Yeah. And then my next cut, it wasn't a single even, but it was a Jason cut.
Jason
And,
Aldean.
Yeah. The funny thing that happened was Michael had me set up to where I was about to sign a publishing deal with Peer. And it was when he first started working with Peer, before he was kind of like the big dog there, but he was getting there. And then I decided I'm going on the road with McGraw. And when the LA office heard I was doing that, they're like, well, when's he going to make time to write? Because they want people writing all the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't get that publishing deal.
You keep all the money.
Well, a short couple months after I didn't get that publishing deal, I get a cut with Jason Aldean.
Wow.
I'm like, you guys, it's like, whatever. I don't know. Songwriting's an interesting beast. I chased it for a while.
Yeah. What was that like for you? Like the difference in your mindset? Because you had the taste. I mean, look, you started out with a Grand Slam home run.
It was difficult because you start out that high and you go, oh, I might never, ever, and probably won't, with the odds, probably won't match that again, I focused more on guitar playing. I did chase it a bit, but then I got to later in life where I'm like, you know what? I want to write what I want to write. Like the only time I really write country now is with my artist, Todd.
Yeah.
Todd Cameron. But other than that, I'm writing for me, or for whoever I'm sitting with. If they're country, yeah, cool. But I'm not chasing that anymore. Interestingly enough, I write this song out on the road for my EP I put out last year with Sean Fichter, the drummer for McGraw, and Dino Brown, fiddle player. They're kind of my buddy co-writers out there, and write this EP and rewrite the song called Rise Up. I know there's been a lot of that song out there, that title, but it's just cool, Imagine Dragons kind of thing. And Dino just plays it for Tim. Just want to tell you what we're up to, where Tim's like, I want to cut that.
Wow.
Proof that you can write what you want.
Yes.
He's cut it, it's recorded. I don't know if he's ever going to put it out or not.
And you need to be in the room with Tim.
Yeah. Well, and I was on the record.
Right.
So he wants to cut my song. I'm on the record recording, and my hero Michael Landau ends up shredding and just trumping my guitar solo with his own guitar solo on it. So it's my hero playing on it. So it's like a trifecta for me. It would only get better if he actually releases it.
So this was been recorded. What was the name of that EP?
Splitting Atoms.
Right, Splitting Atoms.
Yeah.
And so when did this happen that Tim cut this song, Rise Up?
This was like last year.
So you don't even know. So Tim, is he putting a record out soon? Do you have any inclination?
We just recorded another record.
Do you ever go, hey?
We recorded that with the last batch for
Right.
the last record. So the last record came out without it on it. It's still sitting. We recorded another record.
Wow.
And still waiting to see if it's going to be on that one.
Right.
Or if he's going to do something else with it. He's been playing it as the last song before the lights out song to the audience.
Oh, so you're playing it live?
So, no, not live. Just the recording before the lights out song, before the song comes on, where they boom, the room goes black, and you know we're coming on.
Right.
So, and of course, people, if they Shazam it, if they're out there going, that sounds like Tim, they're not finding it.
Right. You're so close.
So I'm like, oh, come on, man, come on. There was another song several years before Tim wanted to cut of mine. It was a little jazzy thing. It was a little different, and it was a band record he was doing. And I get a call from Dino. This is before I'm in the band.
Right.
I get a call from Dino. He goes, hey, man, we're rehearsing your song for the session.
Yes.
And they go in the studio, and apparently they try cutting it, but it didn't make it.
Wow.
And it has nothing to do with Tim or Dino.
Yeah,
but
it's a crazy business. The band I was in, her in Kings County, we had a song that was not written by anybody in the band. And we cut it, and we made the video for it, and we were like, this is going to be awesome. And we got the call that the band Perry was taking it. And we're like, no, wait. It's on hold, right?
Yeah.
If you hold something, you have
can't
something.
grab it.
And it was like all the writers called the lawyers, and everybody said, look, nobody knows who you guys are, but we're on Warner Music Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Espo, do something.
Yeah.
And it was like,
I love Espo.
Me too. And it just vanished. And it was Better Dig 2. It was a song that was a huge hit for them.
Oh, wow.
And the video was the exact same video that we shot.
No.
Like, it was exactly like,
whoa.
We were a very creative band. Like, this was the one song we didn't write, but visually we were wild and crazy from New York. We took what you guys were doing with the rock sound, and we just continued it, and we didn't chase that. So we really fit in. We were like, great, drop D, no problem.
Yeah, we're on it.
We understood the rock influence of things, and it just fit us. And that's why we got signed. You really helped pave the way. Your sound. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we got dropped. But
you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, all right. So fast forward. So you're a sideman. You're a musical diplomat in your world. But then you put out your own music. Your debut solo album, All the Birds Sing, co-produced by your wife, Katie Cook, a very famous person. I read that this was an unabashed, evocative, and broad musical look at his love of family and friends. Your love of family and friends.
Yeah.
Most people, I like to say, you have your whole life to write your first record. You've had a pretty cool damn whole life before your first record.
I have, yeah.
Because, a lot of times our first record, you're 18, you're 22, you're maybe 30 or whatnot.
Yeah.
This record is so good.
Thank you.
It's so good. And yes, there's all of the journey of you into this record. And what was it like to finally,
oh God, it was amazing, because I had written plenty of records and plenty of groups of songs through the years and recorded it, but I never had the confidence to get behind it. I'd do it, and then it would sit, and I'd be like, yeah, that stuff sucks. Anxiety comes in all forms. Anxiety, fear, whatever you call it. I wasn't a great singer, admittedly, but I also had friends that weren't afraid to tell me that and kind of jab me a little bit. I love those guys dearly to this day, but, I'd had reasons for this anxiety and stuff. And when Katie and I got together, we gave each other this confidence in music nobody had ever really given us. our musical journey together started with Suncat, with our stuff together. We started dating. We were thinking of getting married. And all of a sudden we tried writing some songs together. Never quite hit anything that real. And then all of a sudden, sitting naked in bed one night with a mandolin, and boom, I hit something. And we write like 5 songs in 2 weeks. And we're like, we got something here.
Wow.
So that was the clue in. And, I started writing this record, and I had to have her be a part of it because her musical background, as far as what she listened to, is so much cooler than me.
Oh, yeah?
And I believe that other people should produce your records. I mean, there are geniuses out there that are crazy and can sit in the studio, and I could probably do it, but I'd rather have an opinion from somebody that's actually the listener and can, when I have that doubt, can say, no,
Right.
it's awesome, leave it like it is. Or, hey, if you do this, it could be that much better, And she gave me that confidence, and it was the first time in my life I did have that collection of songs where I was like, I don't care what you think. I believe in every word of this record.
Wow.
And every word of that record had meaning to me.
Integrity.
So, whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I am so proud of it. And I have another one I'm working on that's similar, but it's more songs that I just wrote, and they might not even be about something, but they sound like they are.
Right.
But,
so what was it like? You have all this success in, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. You were also nominated for what is it, the Guitarist of the Year?
Yeah,
the
ACM. Yeah, like several times I never won, but whatever.
Yeah.
To get on that list in this town is just an honor. That was like maybe 6 or 7 times, and I've been on the second round of Musician of the Year on CMA Awards. In fact, I just found out today I'm on the second round ballot.
Congratulations.
Which is narrowed down to like 15 or 18 musicians.
I'll vote for you.
It's going to be Jenee Fleenor this year, as it always is. Paul Franklin Award for years, and the Mac McAnally Award.
Yep.
And now I think it's going to be the Jenee Fleenor Award.
She deserves it.
Yeah, oh God, she's amazing.
If you don't know who she is, she plays fiddle. I'm like, do you play the violin or the fiddle?
Yeah.
And she's like, I do both, but on this occasion, it's fiddle.
Yeah, she's awesome. And, and honestly, you're going to go, oh, shut up. But I don't deserve to be on that list. I'm a good player, and I bring something to the table, and I know how to play guitar. But the other people that are on this list could play technical circles around me. If you want to get detailed, I don't deserve to be on that list.
But you're so dreamy. You're so good looking. And on stage next to Tim McGraw, I don't know. I mean, sign me up.
We should be a duo.
Yeah, But Jenee Fleenor, I met Jenee because she played with Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
And my wife was the drummer for Steven Tyler. And, working with your spouse, at the time when you made this record, you were married, you and Katie Cook.
Yeah.
Katie Cook is a very famous person, right? CMT.
Yeah, CMT. And she had a record deal years ago with a band called Reno. You could find Whole World was a song by Reno.
Wow.
You could find it on YouTube. It's so super cool.
Yeah. So you get along when you work together in the studio?
Yeah. I mean, there's always times where she might come down, and I think I just worked on a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
And she comes down and pretty much is like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I think you should do that. And I'll be like kind of huffing and puffing and like,
you're a television star. What the hell do you know?
No, it's just, it's just, that deflation of, I was into this and and she comes down and she gives me her view on it. And then she'll walk back upstairs because she's not the kind of person that wants to sit there and listen to a song over and over and over again. She catches things she likes or dislikes real quick. And she'll go upstairs and I'll be kind of deflated. And then I'll be like, damn it, she's right.
Yeah.
All that work I did the last 3 hours and she's right.
Right. That's great.
I just trust her. She's got an ear for a song.
Wow.
And can write a song. I mean, and it's in her blood.
That's so
cool. Her dad was one of the biggest songwriters of all time.
Who's her dad?
Roger Cook.
Ah.
A little song called Teach the World to Sing by the World of Coke.
Oh my God.
Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that.
Wow. A couple
of
songs.
She grew up around it. She grew up around, her and her dad and John Prine were best friends.
Wow.
So she grew up around it all.
That's so cool.
She grew up sitting at the bar at a young age at Gold Rush.
Yeah.
While their dad was having fun.
Gold Rush was amazing. We could smoke, we could do drugs, we could drink. We did it all at the Gold Rush.
Oh, God, yes.
So my wife and I work together also, and I'm a drummer first, right? And she married a drummer from Queens. Her dad was a drummer from Queens. I never knew her dad, But we work together. We're very New York, right? We both yell at each other very, very quickly, very easily. And when I write the songs, if I write the songs that we're working on, a lot of times I play drums while we write for them vibe songs.
Right, yeah.
And so the rhythm of the drums and the rhythm of the vocal means something together.
Right.
There's a relationship. So there will be a reason, because I'm not a great drummer, but there will be a reason why the patterns are what they are.
Right.
Sarah can play circles around me and most people. But there will be times when I said, when we're tracking, I'm like, hey, honey, or babe, or Sarah. I said, drummer. Hey, hired person that is not getting paid. No, I say, honey, can you play it like this? Please, I need you to play it like this and more like that. And there are times where she's like, my way's better, get the fuck out. And I go, okay, normally you're right. And if she's right, I will get the fuck out.
Right.
But there are times when I'm like, hear me out. You know, hear me out, please.
Yeah.
It is fun. The dynamic is fun. But I want to go back a little bit to the years, like a decade where you're a side man.
Yeah.
You're basically thinking, what are you thinking? What am I asking? I'm telling you what you're thinking.
Man.
You're a side man. You're clearly working on music. You're writing. Let me ask this. Are you playing on all of the Tim McGraw records while this is all happening?
No, I didn't start playing on any Tim stuff until the last couple records.
Okay. So you were playing in the band. You're touring like crazy. You guys tour like wild.
So the touring for me started 2005 with Big and Rich. You know, that start of everything was exciting. And I quit Big and Rich because I wanted to, get in on the studio stuff because it was happening so much. You know, I was that guy. I was one of the new guys. There was only a couple young blood guitar players. It was me, Rob McNally, and for about 5 years there wasn't many others. Then James Mitchell came along, but it wasn't like now. There's a ton of young, awesome guitar players out there. But dude, it was fun. It was exciting because it's like, oh, people want to pay me to play guitar.
And I get to sleep in my own bed?
Yeah. So I come off the road from Big and Rich for 1 year, and then they asked me to come back for another year, and I did it. Thank God I did, because it was a recession, which I had no way of knowing was going to happen.
Wow. But
I had work, and then I stopped, for just a couple years, but it was so much fun.
I'll bet.
Because, wow, I just get to go play guitar. And then it had its turns and darknesses and changes and stuff, with life. But it was a beautiful thing.
Wow.
And now to be on this other side of it, where I'm an empty nester, I still feel 30. I still can't stop dreaming of making music, and I still get paid to go play in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
I still get called to go in the studio and play music that thousands of people are going to hear.
Yeah.
I get to go in the studio and play on music that somebody's mom's going to hear.
Yeah.
I get to go in the studio and play on music that's crappy.
Yeah.
I get to go play on music that's awesome.
Yeah.
I get it all,
That's great.
And dude, that was my one thing when I was in high school. I remember saying to somebody, I don't know who, but my dream was, I just wanted to be able to have a family and make music and raise my family making music.
That's great.
And it happened.
Right. So how was your headspace during those years where you're playing guitar? It's 2012 onward, all of these years. And I didn't know that you had records out until, I knew you had music out, but I thought you had records out like earlier.
Yeah.
So that your first record being in 2022 or 2021, what was your headspace like for those years that you're playing guitar, you're touring? Did you ever have the I know I can do this. I want to do this. I see it happening. I can do better.
Oh, yeah,
This is just, maybe I'll give up on this. I've done this enough. I've made enough money where I could take a year off. I need to make a record.
Well, how deep do you want to go?
I want to hear your story.
Well, I had some dark times. I go out with Tim in 2012. I had, 2012, I start with Tim. 2014, I get a divorce. 2012, when I go out with Tim, I'm on top of the world as a session guy. I go out on the road, and my ex-wife moves my kids to another state. So I'm constantly on the road with Tim. Then every other weekend, or a weekend for me might have been a Monday through Wednesday.
Sure.
Then I'm going to see my kids in Raleigh, or they're coming here, and I'm like, I'm not working when they're here. And before I know it, I did everything I could to make it good for my kids. Yeah. All of a sudden this was a different thing. This was way different. The guitar didn't matter. anymore. Music didn't matter anymore. It mattered, but not the way it used to. You know, this is okay. All hands on deck. I got to make sure my kids are okay.
Yeah.
So I buy a little house in Raleigh and spend half my last 10 years going back and forth when I can. I wish I could have done it more, you know. And then the session thing at the same time, because I'm gone so much, I start saying no to work. And at the same time, there's all these young guys coming into the scene. The phone starts ringing less and less at this time, especially from guys that I got used to working with a long time. And there's no saying that it wouldn't have stopped ringing if I stayed in town.
Right.
And my kids stayed here. But it's just the way it happened. And long story short, I finally get to this session where audio-wise it was a little messed up. Like I could hear my cabinet from down the hallway out of phase with the speaker in front of me. I'm sat in front of the right side speaker of a thing. My daughter is here for one more night, and I get called for double scale master overdub. This is going in reverse here. You know, I had been at that point where it didn't work when they were in, but this was at a point where I'm like, I'm going to have to not always say no when they're in and take some work. And this,
When they're here visiting you in Nashville.
like maybe I can work a little, and they're going to have to understand because I got to make money. And this was a last minute thing. And my daughter was a little older, so I figured she could take it. You know, no big deal. Dad's got to go work for 3 hours. Well, I get there, and the whole long story short thing is I shouldn't even said, because here we go. It's not quite the right setup anyway for audio, and it's in a place where I had a weird experience, anxiety experience with a producer that this producer was kind of an underling of and working for. And so it was a weird vibe. And although I loved the guy that I was working for, thankfully, and he was a friend, there were already all these beautiful guitar parts on this recording. And he's like, we don't know what we want. We just want something different from what's on here. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like struggling to find anything that's making him go, yeah, that's it. And it just feels wrong sonically. And there's the AC sucked, and I'm sweating. And this is like my first like huge bout with anxiety, you know? And then he goes, well, why don't you just replay this part? And I'm like, that part sounds beautiful. Why would I freaking replay that? I didn't say that to him that way, but you know, I literally could not put my hand on the fingerboard. Wow. And I went home, I drove home basically in tears, and I told Katie, I said, I'm never doing another recording session in my life. And she said to me, she goes, you know, you really handled your divorce well, you know, for your kids, but you've never dealt with it. You've never dealt with it. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. She goes, you think maybe you want to go talk to somebody? And I went to therapy, and I got about half a sentence in, and then I think I was sitting in a puddle of my tears. Wow. You know, I didn't realize that I just didn't take care of me. Yeah. You know, and I'm not in town as much anymore. There's other people getting the work I used to get, which is cool. That's the way it goes in this town. Hopefully you get to stay in the game just enough to just stay in the game. When you get older, you get less work. Sometimes you still get the same amount. Sometimes you get more, and it's ebbs and flows. But when it first started happening to me, I had all this other stuff going on, and it made everything dark. I think everybody needs to take a lesson from that if they're listening to that. You got to take care of yourself. Do it. Because trust me, it's not a good feeling when you're sitting there as somebody, a respected musician, and you can't even put your hand on the guitar neck. Yeah. You know, it was, it was awful, you know.
And your daughter was at the session?
No, she was at home.
Oh, she was at home?
Yeah. She was at home with Katie.
Wow.
So
did that ever come to light, that song, what you did, the work?
I don't even remember.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I did anything on it.
Right.
Well, I don't think I played a note that they kept.
Wow.
You know,
good for you to take care of yourself.
Well, I got up and left. That's the part I left out. Oh. I told the producer that was working on it with me, I said, I can't do this. I said, I've got nothing. And I packed up and I left. Wow. Yeah. First, it was weird, man.
That's brave.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's a lot of courage to do that.
Well, yeah.
Good for you.
Well, that taught me a big lesson, and it's so so nice to be on the other side of that. You know, I still battled with anxiety for a while after that, and I still every once in a while do just a little bit. And I don't think anybody's immune from anxiety. I don't think anybody can predict if they're ever going to have it or not. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
But it's not. It can be crippling.
Yes.
You know, but now all of a sudden, and maybe it's, you know, different chapter of life. I'm proud of us for our kids are great. Our kids are amazing, and they're on to their own lives. My daughter's out of college. My son's going into college. My stepdaughter's in college as a choir major, and they're all rocking the world.
Yeah.
You know, we helped get them there, and I'm like, oh,
You're all right.
we're all good.
Yeah.
Man. And then things have become fun again. You know,
good.
there was a time where the phone would ring or text would ring and say, "Are you available?" And I'd be like, "Ah, damn it, I am."
Yeah.
And now I'm excited
Yeah.
when it happens again, and it's beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool, man.
I'm in therapy as of recently.
Yeah.
You know, it's been years since I've done it, but I've been very anxious. Midlife, things have slowed down for me in a big way.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, what is my purpose?
Yeah,
But being able to talk to somebody and to share, I feel better about all of that. And it's hard. And it's
Yeah.
really scary because you just think, I got it all together. I mean, hey, you're the same horse
Yeah.
rider cowboy guy. Come on.
Yeah. When I saw you the first couple of times, I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's the freaking best!" And I thought you were just the biggest rock star. I thought you'd never want to talk to me. But
Wow.
you know, that's
Yeah.
that's a form of anxiety.
Absolutely.
Thinking, why would that guy want to hang out with me?
Absolutely.
You know, and here you are.
Well,
in
yeah.
my little red room.
But I was like, I've known your name. I've known, you know, and then we finally got to meet and talk in person at the Greasy Chicken
Yeah,
Review.
yeah.
Thanks to Matthew Slahekta.
That's right.
And I got to dive into your music, and you're fabulous. You're,
Oh, thank you, man.
You know, you're really, I was a little nervous because you're tall and good looking. And I'm like a little bit, you know, intimidated by tall, good looking people.
I think you're sexy.
Oh, thank you. I
You know,
appreciate
so-
that. But you couldn't be kinder, and I really root for you. So you just had some songs come out this year, Being Human, Digital Brains, and Angel Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Are you back out on tour with Tim soon? You put
Yeah,
music out. What's it
yeah.
like to put music out for you? Because at this point in the game, putting music out is like whatever, right?
Yeah,
and I hate
yeah.
to say that or
It is.
belittle it.
It is.
People are like, when's them vibes put music out? Well,
Right.
Alex, we're working on his solo record. I have some music coming out soon that's kind of like mental health Afro pop, but being Jewish, I'm going to call it maybe like Jewfro pop. You know, it's like nothing like anything
That's great.
that I've ever done. But
Yeah.
we're working on separate things. I'm doing this podcast, but we do have a few singles in the can. But it's so different from what it used to be.
Yeah, it is. And to answer your first question, light year with Tim.
Light year with Tim.
Like we've got 14 shows left.
Right.
We've only done 2.
Right.
But as far as the putting the music out for me, it's something I have to do.
Yeah.
I can't stop making the music. I don't necessarily have to put it out, but
Right.
but I can't stop writing and I can't stop being creative.
who you are.
It's just who I am.
That's great.
And honestly, the songs you mentioned, that was my rock band, Digital Brains, which kind of, I mean, will always exist, but we're not really doing anything.
Okay.
We've gone in different directions, but we've actually come together as the recording band for a guy named Davey Allen producing. He's a freaking awesome kid.
Cool.
He sounds like Lane Staley.
Wow.
And he rocks. But, you know, I do the music because I can't stop. The ones I put out, I was like, you know what? I've got this new record I'm working on. Every song's about 80% there. And I don't know when I'm going to finish it. So I started digging back
Wow. Cool.
to what I had. Just, you know, as they say, to keep the algorithm going, you know.
Yeah.
So I can keep my one listener involved every week.
You have 85 listeners a month.
Something
I looked.
like that. you
Well, I
know?
was doing my
Yeah,
research.
Yeah. Hey, they're great listeners.
They are
Yeah,
great listeners.
Yeah.
But you're very successful, so
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
feel sorry for
I don't-
Adam Shoenfeld.
Yeah, I don't. But here's the deal: I put out that Splitting Atoms. McGraw cuts a song.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I'm gonna put this stuff out. I don't know who's gonna hear it.
Right.
I don't know if, you know, some other artist I know is gonna go, "Oh, Adam has a record out," and
Yeah.
listen to it and go, "I love that song." And it's all songs I'm doing for me.
Right.
And those songs you said, those were leftover Digital Brain songs we never put out. And I called the guys and I said, hey, listen, we're not really doing stuff. I want to kind of keep my algorithm going for my 85 listeners.
Yes.
I said, do you mind if I put these out as Adam Shoenfeld featuring Digital Brains?
Okay.
So those have been just kind of stuff coming out. And then I'm about to come out with a song called Zero to Hero,
Oh.
which is the second version of a song, but that recording's from 2009.
Good for you.
Before Digital Brains.
Right.
And I'm on the search for the tracks for the original version from about 2005.
Wow.
It's a whole different ball game. The one that's coming out is like early Foo Fighters. The original version is like this weird ELO meets Tom Petty, just weird thing, but I have to re-sing it because I could not sing back then. So I'm digging. I'm just putting random stuff out. I have an acoustic cover of a certain Ozzy Osbourne song that I've thought about putting out, and not because Ozzy just left us.
Yeah.
Like, I've been wanting to put it out.
Do it.
And I just went,
please.
you know what? I think I'm going to put that out. And it's not, again, has nothing to do with him dying. I'm not trying to, capitalize on that. It's just
Hear that,
something I
Sharon?
did, Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I love your record. So you have All the Birds Sing, you had Breadcrumbs for Hope in 2023. Your music is fantastic. And I just want to go back real quick. I played with Maggie Rose, an artist.
Yeah.
And we opened up 2 shows for Tim McGraw a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. You guys were wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah,
Touring with Tim McGraw, you guys eat so well. Well,
Hell yeah.
being on tour is really difficult
Yeah.
and really hard. I can tell you're a healthy person. I appreciate the fact that you take care of yourself now. You dealt with some anxiety, and by the way, that stuff does not go away.
Yeah.
It comes back. But you seem like a healthy person. You work out. You have a regimen.
Well, lately I haven't. I've been meaning to get back on it.
Okay, but a regimen is important.
But yes, yeah. I fall off every once in a while.
Yeah, well, you're human.
I've had to get back to the gym on my calendar for the last few weeks.
But you guys tour. There is a gym as part of your
Yeah,
touring.
when we do a full tour, we got the gym out there.
It's like a gym in an 18-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's its own truck.
Yeah.
I went in the wrong door, and I saw Tim McGraw and all of you musicians working out like maniacs.
Yeah.
And I thought, I better get out of here before I get dragged in here because I was drinking and I was a mess.
Yeah.
So I left and went to catering, and it was fabulous. You were all very kind to us.
Well,
and thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. No, yeah, it's great out there. I mean, Tim's been a hell of an influence when it comes to that. For example, I joined him in 2012.
Yeah.
And I think it was 2014, I was doing a overdub for a song. The Warren Brothers, I don't think they were producing it, but I think it was their song and an artist was cutting it. And Brad was sitting behind me.
Brad.
Warren.
Right.
Yeah, Brad and Brett. And Brad goes, Schoenfeld, you got triceps now.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard to stay in shape. It's
Yeah.
really hard to take care of yourself on tour. And obviously it's easier when you are on such a highfalutin tour.
Yeah.
Is it easy to hide out on the tour with Tim McGraw? Because I know some tours, no alcohol, no drugs, no smoking.
yeah.
Would it be easy for you, and I'm not saying you do, to like hide out and sneak around and like, eat a Snickers bar while drinking a shot of tequila?
If I wanted to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Well, I've been on tours where it's like no nothing, and I'm like, no problem.
We try to keep it clean out there, for the people that don't need the temptation. It's usually in private moments or when we're rolling, and it's not going to have any consequence on anything,
Right.
Good
Good for you.
Yeah, we try to keep it light.
That's great.
So
I have questions. Are you ready for my speed round?
yes, go.
Okay. What fascinates you?
You.
Why?
You're a freaking rock star. I see you up on stage, dude, and I'm just like, this dude is magic.
Thank you.
I wish I could be that way as a singer.
Oh, I
It's
appreciate
amazing.
that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, somebody call me. I need some singing work.
You're amazing.
And I play percussion. Somebody call me.
Come on, let's go.
What angers you? What
You.
pisses you off? Why?
Not much. Really, hatred angers me, hatred and division, things like that.
Yes.
That angers me. Yeah. And I try to keep that anger low so it doesn't stress me out.
Yeah.
Well,
what brings you joy?
Oh, God. My wife, my kids.
Yeah.
And still writing songs,
Yeah.
singing songs. It still brings me joy.
Yeah.
If
If you had a magic wand and you could fix anything in the world, what would it be?
Oh, boy. I'd still have my brother here. Yeah.
He passed.
85. He was 14. I was 11.
May I ask how?
But hit by a car.
So
But I wouldn't be who I am now. I don't know who I'd be,
Hmm.
but I'd gladly see,
Yeah.
So
Now the heavy, deep question after something so beautiful. Toilet paper over or under?
Over,
Of
dude.
course. You know, there are a lot of maniacs out there.
Yeah, they put them under and it's like, no, dude, can't do that. That's a little extra work.
Fantastic. Adam Shoenfeld, where do we find you? Because you have great music out and you are an artist unto yourself.
AdamSchoenfeld.com, at Shoenfeld on Instagram, and Adam-Shoenfeld on Facebook.
If somebody were to be like, I want that sound, I need the sound,
Yeah.
which, by the way, Adam Shoenfeld, you have been that sound. Are you available to work?
I'm always available.
That's great.
Yeah.
You're very approachable, which is okay.
Just send me an email. Send me a message.
That's great.
Yeah.
Adam Shoenfeld. Tim McGraw has been very lucky to have you on tour.
Yeah.
All of the work that you've done in country music, I have played songs that you have made famous. You are a fantastic person. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
For having me over your house. Thanks for tuning into the Just Keep Talking podcast. Your story really matters, folks. Adam Shoenfeld, you matter, and I appreciate you being on this
Love
show.
you, brother. Love.
My man. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye-bye. You can personally support this show simply by clicking the tip link in the show notes. The Just Keep Talking podcast is now available on all podcast platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. Visit our website at justkeeptalking.com, our YouTube channel at Just Keep Talking Podcast, and Instagram at The Just Keep Talking Podcast. We all just want to be seen, to be heard, and to belong. Thank you so much for supporting my mission and the Just Keep Talking Podcast with me, Brother Love, because your story matters.